When a set is released, there's always some level of hype. Most recently, Surging Sparks has been pretty miraculous in how much of a boom it has caused in the Pokemon market. When we think back into other sets, like popular ones that we think of now, Evolving Skies, it was in a boom time, but it didn't have that same flex that Surging Sparks has today. Looking forward at Prismatic Evolutions, where sites will launch their pre-sales and they dry up in 2 minutes or less, we're in some interesting times. So while today is Tuesday and we like to look at the trending prices of sealed and single products for the Pokemon TCG, I also like to use this as an opportunity for predictors and where we can go in the future. So while I'm going to do the usual thing and pull up some cards and some sealed product and showcase that they are trending upward, I'm also going to kind of add a little bit of a sidebar conversation in the fact of how we can use this information moving forward. I'm just looking for ways to kind of set my channel apart because I think there's a deeper story to tell instead of the blanket front of here's where the market's at and isn't that exciting that I did the research for you. That's easy, but I'm looking to step up my game and I'm trying to earn your support. So let's dive in. Pikachu EX, this is an easy one to start on because it's such a big one to start on. Obviously, we saw this thing pre-selling around $300. A lot of people, including myself, said, yikes, that seems a little too superheated there for that card. It shot up to almost $600. Since then, it's recovered, but we are back to a trend upwards. Now, that recovery didn't even bring us back down to that starting point, that what we would call FOMO price, the fear of missing out price, in that $300 range. It brought us to a little bit more of a, inflated price, in my opinion, still, of $430-ish for that recovery, and now it's bounced back up to almost $500 again. If we look at it over the past few days here, we're seeing a little bit more of a balancing act in this range of $485 or thereabouts. Now, that's going to be an indicator that maybe things are stabilizing, maybe people are being a little more selective. That bar graph isn't doing us a lot of good in this information because the spikes up and how they correlate to the prices going down is not the best indicator for this particular card, where sometimes it's a little bit more obvious. However, we had an indication that maybe things are leveling off because there's a set coming that everybody's going nuts for. I'm going to leave Prismatic Evolutions to the side. I may bring it up again, but for the most part, I don't want to make this video about that. I want to make this about how we can use this trend and look back at some older sets in what that means for how we can operate as collectors, people who want to pull packs, rip open packs and pull cards, people who want to get things for the TCG, and others who want to invest in it. I guess the information could be useful to scalpers. That's not my intention, but scalpers are going to do what they do. Let's move on. Surging Sparks booster box. Here's a good indication. These were coming in around $100, $105, $110 on the early sales. I think the highest I paid was $125. I felt kind of dumb doing it, but now it looks smart. It looks smart because things were trending upward in that way, and that's why I pulled the trigger on the $125 box. And here we are, not slowing down, $208, $210, somewhere in there. Now, that's a pretty good gain over a short time. If we get this a little bit tighter, it hasn't been a crazy gain in the past, 2 weeks. So that's a good sign that things are slowing down, they're leveling off, and it's not going to be some wild one in a million set. It's going to have found its place in the market and move forward in that way. I don't understand what this huge sell-off was about. However, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things here. It would be interesting to kind of dive deeper into that crazy sales of almost 800 boxes going out at the $205 price range, just for it to not only go up a little bit, but not even much really at all. So if it was going to be a massive buyout for hoping that it inflates the market and then selling it off, who knows what people are doing? You can't really track all of that accurately. You could start comparing this in other sales formats and other storefronts. What are local game stores seeing if they're able to move these in any mass quantities? What's happening on eBay and the sell dates? Are there things to correlate into that information? I don't know. I haven't taken that deep dive. But this is an interesting idea of where things are at. After the boom, after we've gotten into this set and people have been opening stuff, the more time goes on, the less I'm enthusiastic about opening it, especially on a set like Surging Sparks. Stellar Crown would be worth opening because the price point hasn't moved that much. However, Surging Sparks looks like, as much as I want to open it, it'd be better to hold it. Financially, it would be better to hold it. Because even though I got it at $105 or $125 even, the second I open it, I'm at a loss because I could have just turned it around for profit. So it would be a bad investment decision, which is the temptation when you do hold things, which is why I'm also being a lot more selective about the things I purchase to hold, because I don't want to have that temptation. Now, you could go and chase a card like the Pikachu EX, the gold card out of the Surging Sparks, and yes, that'd be a great chase, especially if you hit it. The pull rates are not in your favor to do so. And while you could pull this out of a booster box, I think the pull rate on the gold card is like 1 out of every 3 booster boxes. Great, you pay for one of those booster boxes at best. And that's only if you're going to turn this card around. Yes, you get a little bit extra, so you probably could do fine for that one booster box, but you're taking a loss. Opening packs is not going to be a financial winner in the long run. However, this is an interesting thing that we're seeing this nice spike here. We're seeing that growth continue on this set in certain cards. And we're seeing it kind of stagnate in others. We have the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, the Pokemon Center version. That's going to be your stamped promo. All right, that little stamp that goes a long way for a lot of people, collectors, including myself, really love that stamp. Not a good picture here. However, you get both promos. You get the stamp promo. I think the most expensive one I paid for was $38 for the sealed pack of the promos. I got it secondary because I didn't want to open up my Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, and for good reason. The fact that you buy it at $65, yeah, it had a crazy FOMO price that I don't know who was buying these. That doesn't make sense. And it dropped off upon release. But even upon release, it was at $105. So already it's a winner. And it's had a nice little growth to it. As the set ages, this is going to continue. This little recovery here, fine. It seems like you might be in a good spot. And this is why, if it's something you're looking for, if it's a product you're interested in, I had a commenter suggest that they were looking at this particular product, and you have to watch it daily. If you see that it's trending down, you can give it another day and watch it bump up and go, oh, it might be time to buy. Or you could see it's trending down and give it another day and it dips down, give it another day. Now that it's trending up, if I were in the market to be buying one of these and I was going to be spending that $125 price or there close to it, this is probably the time to be looking at it. It's not the highest. Is it the highest? It might be the highest. No, it's not quite the highest, but we're getting back to it real quick here. At least in the highest of realistic pricing. The FOMO pricing is an unrealistic gauge until we talk years later. Because over time, you can have a good recovery on that price, a better opportunity to purchase, and people need to be more patient, or at least if you'd like to get something like this, it's worth being more patient. And I'm going to show you that here in a few different slides here, different pages or whatever we're doing. But the reality is, it's going to trend upward. Long term, it's going to trend upward. The more they are out of the market, they're not printing anymore, the more that are going to be opened. People are going to be grabbing that promo out there, whether it's for their own collection, they want to sell it off because it's a big chunk of the box, just that one promo with the stamp, or people are going to be pulling those out, checking conditions so they can grade them and turn it around for a profit at that point. There's a lot of different scenarios that could happen. But when it's a box like this, where you know there's no more reprints, you want to take that into consideration. Especially on the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box, because there's that lucky added bonus of the fact that it is very limited and it's not going to be subject to a reprint in the future. At least it hasn't been in the past for those Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. There's been pre-sales, whether they sell out or not, and then another little surge into the marketplace on release day just to have it available. For this one, it was up for 2 hours or something, if that, when it came for that release day. Hydreigon EX, Surging Sparks, we have a nice growth here. It looked like we were kind of coming down from those FOMO prices, and we were going to be pretty stable because it held for a while. Held for a while there, that we had a couple weeks looking like it's in the down, maybe going there, and it was probably a big piece of it being that 10% off, that portion that you can get on TCG Player just to boost those sales, which drove the prices up. Then you had a few people thinking, I'm going to miss out on this before it takes off, so now we have it going up again. But now that the sales are getting a little bit more selective, we might see some dipping down. I could be wrong. I just don't think this is a $100 card. I don't think it's a $110 card. I'd put it more in the like $60, $70 range. However, the market decides. I don't decide. I'm just here to witness it and hopefully learn something on it. Now, this one actually surprised me because it was trending in such a stable manner in the $50 range. Little up, little down, somewhere in there. But man, it just shot up. It just shot up not even that long ago. Very recently. Big spikes here. A lot of sell-offs, a lot of purchases happening there. 42 sold in a day around the $90 range, or at least that was the average. I don't know what this 190 is. It really, are people paying that crazy sale price? That'd be ridiculous. Obviously, something is amiss there. But we are getting close to that 110 mark for this card. Over here on the regular Elite Trainer box, this one also surprised me because I've found these on the shelf like it wasn't that difficult. I'm not going out hunting for these things. I'm not going to these stores. I happen to need to go to the store for a completely different reason. And of course I glanced because I'm in this hobby and I can't help myself. But there they were, Surging Sparks, ETBs. I've opened them on the channel and I've wanted to open another one. I had it set aside as, yeah, I could open that. But now that it's already $75, why would I open it? I got it for $38. I got it for $38. Why would I go and tear it open at $75? If I hold it for a little longer, if I wait for the next wave, if there's going to be a reprint, which I think with a set this popular there should be, there probably will be, then I should probably hold on to it even still, because that might bring the price back down, but it's going to be temporary and it'll bounce back up. Now, a lot of sets do this over time. This is a little bit more dramatic situation, a little bit more of an accelerated storyline. Let's take 151, the poster collection. The poster collection was one of those that boosted up into price because of the set's popularity. We have come down to a little bit more of a sensible price range. It's a $15 box, so the fact that it's going for $20, $22, not horrible, considering reprints have not taken place. But then we started getting a lot more people into the hobby. In anticipation of Surging Sparks, even more people started entering back into the hobby. 151 brought people in again. It was another wave. For me and many others, Celebrations was that time frame. That was the 2020, 2021 time frame where a lot of that hobby resurgence was happening. And we've spiked up in the $28 range, $29 there, okay, bringing it back down to reality, big wild swings. There were some restocks and sell-offs, a lot of things hitting into Walmart. Walmart Online has been doing waves of restocks for these, so you see the prices spike when they get scarce, a restock hits, the price starts coming back down, and it's happened a few times. And then we get into a weird little lull in this past month where it just dipped way down. Now, was this another restock? Perhaps. It might have been. I don't know for sure. But it's one of the lower points, actually, that we've had in a while here. 23. All right, let me take a look over here. Yeah, we were back over in June for that $23 mark. So pretty interesting that it did that. Now it's shooting back up. Not getting to the high, but it's climbing back up because I don't think we're seeing reprints. We are going to see that Blooming Waters, that box, 12 packs in it, I guess, and those are getting sold out if you could find them at all. We'll see what happens when they hit store shelves. For now, let's take a quick little break and point out the fact that even though it's a $26, almost $27 box, it could be free. Free for you, at least. The support of the channel has been fantastic. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's going to be close. I think we could do it. Maybe you got to take that extra step and share it out. There's a lot of different Discords out there. People are looking at different channels. This is going out to one lucky subscriber. All you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe. I'm giving away this plus 7 other prizes. All right, it's not going to be a short little list here. 2 3-pack blisters of Surging Sparks for 2 additional winners, and 5 Pokemon mystery card lots that I'm building myself with illustration rares, special illustration rares. There's all sorts of fun different cards in there, some older WotC promos and things. I just want to make sure that there's a cool little mix, maybe some things you haven't seen before or had a chance to get a hold of. So those mystery card lots are going to be a fun one to give away as well. But I just want people to be a part of the channel and do it. But take that extra step. Apart from being a part of the channel here, you need to go over to this video and leave an additional comment there. That's where I'm compiling all the comments so I can select a winner for that and the other prizes. Getting back to the premise of today, though, the Greninja EX, another one to look at. It came up and went to that $300 mark. It came back down. I thought, hey, good. It's getting to a more sensible area of price here. I mean, I wasn't going to shell out the $260, and then it just shot back up again. 320, then it came back down to 300. Okay, maybe we're going to level off and recover. No, we're not. We're going to keep going back up. This one has baffled me. However, it's indicative of where the market's going. What we're seeing on that Pikachu is following more to this trend, that the really sought-after cards are going to have these wild spikes, but for the most part, they're up there. They are up there, and you're going to have to get used to it. Hopefully get lucky and pull it, or if you're going to be going for it, you're going to have to probably, if you're like me, you're going to have to make some really tough decisions in how you're going to allocate your collection dollars to go as far as getting something like that. I'm not going to be able to do this, and I'm not really interested in doing so either, so it's okay. I've moved on. I can do it. However, let's take a quick thought on what we're going to see with Prismatic Evolutions. Now, that Umbreon already, out of the Terrestrial Festival, the Japanese side, the version there for what we're going to see as Prismatic Evolutions, the prices have been a little bit all over the place, but it's going to have this big uptrend. And the pull rates have been pretty good. So I'm a little bit concerned what we're going to see in English. If it's going to be similar, then there might be some potential that it's not a crazy price card. However, with all the evolutions in there, helping those who are fans of others and pulling the prices down because it's saturating the market, it's not just the one card, maybe there's a chance. Maybe there's a chance that they're not all in this uncontrollable price range. Or if they start shooting that way, it might be a good indicator of where the market's at. I think it's actually kind of sad given what Pokemon cards are supposed to be, what the Pokemon franchise is supposed to be about. I think it's a little bit sad that it's turned into a lot of adults going for these heavy collections, really expensive cards. I don't think it needs to be that way, and it's not like Pokemon is not printing these. They have thousands of these printed into oblivion. But there's just that much out there, that many people, that many openings, and it's really that difficult to get a hold of. Moving on to celebrations, this is going to get us into that, what does long-term look like? Now, we have the Pokemon Center exclusive ETB here from Celebrations. Very different box than they ever had done for any other ETBs. Much larger. It lays flat and lifts a big cover off. So very different setup. But we had these for a long time, and they did have a gain. They had some profit, some upside to them in the $100 range, and that was actually pretty stable for a while. It started growing back when we were approaching that alt art boom in May. It grew a little bit to that 110 range, and then when the alt arts came about, everybody was focused onto the Sword and Shield main set series of cards, and it seemed that Celebrations kind of went by the wayside. The reprints weren't there. The nostalgia didn't matter. There was the classic collection. You could go and get the Charizard that way if you wanted a little bit more modern version. People weren't really coming back into the hobby again here and going back to Celebrations. However, after it's leveled off and gotten back to its $100 range, we have just seen some exponential growth as of late here. The past month alone is just a straight shot to the top, almost 45-degree angle here from the what was $105 range to now $125 range. A pretty significant gain in a short period of time. Not a lot of sales happening. However, this also shows you that as time goes on, if you're patient enough, even though we thought we saw some pretty decent spikes out of it, it did recover, and you can keep an eye on things to find them in a more manageable price range for yourself. This set is years old at this point. However, it does reach a certain threshold, a certain point in time where people aren't willing to spend the money on it, and it's not going to move all too often. And you have so many other sets to compete with over that same time period that when they do go, they become fewer and further between. And that brings the price up because there's less movement on the market, more people holding, or perhaps more were opened, and it's a loss to the market completely. So that's going to raise your price over time. My point here is Celebrations is a good indicator of Prismatic Evolutions. If you are interested in that set and you can't get these pre-orders, like I can't get these pre-orders, don't fret. Go after it. Try to get your cards, get your sealed products, get the things you'd like to collect. Have your fun opening or holding or whatever you're going to do. That's fine. Give it time. Give it time. They're going to be releasing stuff all next year for that set. So give yourself some time to go check for the restocks, to see. Getting into MSRP looks like it'll be one of the better options if you can. I think discounts are kind of out for the most part on most places. So, but over time, it's going to go up. It's going to go down. And if you're buying on what you think is a peak, just wait. It may not be the last peak. So those who bought back here and then saw it falling down probably felt bad about it, spending that money, losing that money. You didn't lose it because you're not realizing the gain or the loss. And I haven't gained it because I'm not selling to realize the gain yet. So my $65 investment is still just a $65 investment, and that's what it's worth until I sell it and somebody else dictates that it's worth more. So something to keep in mind. Another Celebrations 151 has surpassed this one here on the ETB, but same kind of thing. It was pretty stagnant for a while. Now we've had a recent boom. If people are looking to unload them, this might be a good time, or over time it might do another spike. The fact that this came down for such a recovery on the collector's chest there, pretty crazy, because it was almost a $42 or so tin, and now it's up to getting 44, going to be at 45 soon, I'm sure. So interesting how these things move. Evolving Skies, another good one to talk about, especially with those Black Friday deals, all those tins, the Tyranitar and Napoleon tins, all those things that came out of Walmart, all of those packs hitting the market, never affected the booster box. It's been on a pretty good climb. I don't know if we'll see it hit 1,000 by Q1 of 25. However, it could get there. The further away we get from its release and the reprints, the rarer it becomes. The fewer that are being opened, the more people are just holding on to it. And when they do get opened, it's now becoming a spectacle. So this is going to gain. At this point, I would think slowly. However, that doesn't mean much. It can gain quickly, hold for a while, find a new jump, and maybe that's the pattern. The loose packs in particular affected the sleeved booster packs and the loose packs themselves, and we saw it dip way down, considering, I mean, not huge price to dip down, but it did move quickly. And I said about a 2-week recovery. This Friday, we're getting to that 2 weeks. So pretty much spot on that it didn't just recover, it surpassed it. Now we look at the loose packs here, and we haven't quite recovered, but we're beyond halfway to that recovery from the dip. So beyond halfway, dollar-wise, to this recovery in that 1823. So we'll see this probably right at that 2-week mark, maybe a couple days extra, that we have a full recovery, and then it'll be another clean climb in this stair-stepping direction north. So I think that's all good indicators that, one, patience is key, and two, you don't have to feel like you're going to miss out, because things come back around. But make sure you jump on opportunities when they come, because they end up correcting as well. And if you just stretch it out over a year, you can kind of see that there's an opportunity here, and then it moves up. There's an opportunity, then it moves up. There's an opportunity, then it moves up. An opportunity, then it moves up. So yes, this opportunity is not as good as that opportunity. For sure. However, you can follow the trends, and you can't go back in time to where you wish you were paying attention to that. But if it's something that's on your radar, start paying attention. Watch the trends. See where it goes. And then see if you can capitalize on it in some way. Whether it's to open the packs or collect them, however you want to do it, doesn't matter. Everybody's journey is different, but I'm just pointing out the trend is okay to follow. And you have to kind of look at this a little bit differently than you might think. Many people start looking at these things and see the sticker price, the price they're paying for it, and they go, oh man, that's so expensive. A booster pack is $4 or $5. Why am I going to pay, $25 for a pack, or whatever the case might be? Well, consider some things, and a good analogy to use is actually precious metals. If you've dabbled in silver and gold in any way, or you've looked at those markets, while the amount of gold and silver hasn't changed in the world ever, it's there. Whether it's available to us or not, it is there. And how it's available to us can change over time. But the price continually goes up. While it dips down at times, ultimately the trend is up. A lot of investment pieces, even in hobbies like Pokemon and sports cards and all sorts of things, over time, the trend is usually up. Sure, nothing is definite. Everything has risk. I get that. But give yourself a little grace. You see something that you're looking for, that you're wanting to add to your stack, your collection, and it dips down a little bit, and you're feeling like, oh man, I'm paying, $15 for a pack. Okay, well, maybe you're okay with that. And it's probably going to dip back up again. So, give yourself a little grace. Use patience and time to your advantage. Investing is a long-term thing. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Those who think it's a sprint are called scalpers, and they grab, sell, and go. It takes some hustle. I think it's damaging to the community, but I can't control anybody. It is what it is. Maybe today's format was different in a way that you didn't like. If that's the case, I'd love your honest opinion. Just comment down below. Let me know. Either way, 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a Pokemon 151 poster collection to 1 lucky subscriber, 2 3-pack blisters of Surging Sparks, and 5 Pokemon mystery card lots that I'm building for you. Go back to a little bit earlier in the video, maybe in the middle-ish, I don't know. I tell you exactly what you need to do, but as a good reminder, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell because I post 7 days a week. And with that, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.